Welcome to HSBM.TV. My name is Christine Ellis, and I'm here in the studio today with some of my friends. I have not been in the studio for a couple of months now. I don't know what was going on, but there were so many things happening. But today I felt it in my spirit that I needed to be here. And this is in the line that which we're going to be speaking of how to, when you listen and you hear the voice of God, and how to act on it, to move forward. Because when God calls you and He gives you something to do, you don't wait. He says that when you find a need and you feel that need, but at the same time, in the between you finding the need and you responding to that need, you're going to hear His voice, and you have to learn how to receive that voice and move with it. My friends are here with me. As usual, you know that I don't introduce my guests. And so right now, I'm going to ask them to introduce myself. So beautiful women in the studio, but to God be the glory. Here they are. Come on, madam. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me
God,
here.
look at that hairstyle. I'm telling you, I thought I had it going on, but this lady had it going on with that hairstyle. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell
Yes,
us who
lovely.
you are.
So my name is H.A.U.N.T.E.D, and I am the Executive Director of Dsquared Homes for the Homeless. I
Awesome.
founded this nonprofit in 2019 in response to my son's mental illness and homelessness. I saw a need and wanted to fill it.
There we go. That need wanted to feel it. Why don't you, beautiful lady, tell us who you are today? Because we're going to be talking about a lot about you having heard the voice of God. But I want to hear who you are. Tell me.
Yes, my name is Felicia Parker, and I worked with H.A.U.N.T.E.D at Dsquared Homes. I've been with her for almost 2 years.
That's wonderful.
And our appointment was divine. It was a
Exactly.
divine appointment.
That's the way it's supposed to be,
Yes.
right? Because whenever He called us, it's an appointed time, I call it. Appointed
Yes.
time for a time just like this. So you said something that really brought me back to an understanding of the finding the need and feel it, and then hearing the voice of God. But there is something that pushed you into that moment of
Yes.
hearing the voice of God, which was your son.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about him and his story, because the mother's heart, you know, we don't play when it comes to mothers. Because when our
Yes.
kids are going through that mama bear, that lioness, all of it come out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
talk to me about that.
So my son was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2010.
Yeah.
The doctor said he would never be able to work again. And at that time, I
don't like
believed
that word,
it.
never.
I didn't like the word.
Yes.
But the thing that was hard for me is that they said he wouldn't, but he also did not qualify for disability. So there was no income. Two systems saying something different.
Yes.
So there
And
is no
he's
support.
caught in the middle.
He's caught in the middle. Well, obviously, they were wrong. They didn't know God. My son started working full time.
Yes.
3 years working full time as a case manager. Went back to school part time. Had his own apartment, his own car. And that's
Now,
when
this is the end of the story, guys. This
Yes.
is the end of the story, but there was a working part
Yes.
before we get to the end of the story.
Yes.
So when you heard that news, you felt that, okay, God, where do I go from here?
Yes, I felt it, and to be honest with you, I said no. I didn't want to do this.
That's right.
Because I
Which
didn't
report
want
would
to.
you believe?
Well, I'm going to believe God at this point because my son really heard the voice. He thought he was Jesus, and he thought I was the Virgin Mary.
Wow.
So
So how the disease process
yes.
started on him.
Yeah, so I really believed that he wouldn't, but obviously I learned that God is the final answer and everything.
Yes.
And fast forward to 2 years ago,
Yeah.
my son lapsed into homelessness because of a toxic relationship.
Yes.
And when we applied for temporary shelter with
Yeah.
an organization out here, they denied him because his income was $40 too short. And they would not allow me to.
$40 too much or too short?
Too short. So
Wow.
he had unemployment for $1,000, just needed to get back on his feet.
Yeah.
But so he was $40 too short.
That's right.
They would not allow me to supplement that.
Would
not allow it.
Wow.
They said I'm not the client.
Okay.
So when my son was turned down over that $40, I realized that somewhere the value of a human life.
My God.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I've never been one who just give up. I've always been a
Come
fighter.
on.
That's how my mother raised me.
Mhm.
I've never felt so helpless. So my son lived in the park for a year.
Yeah.
It took 3 months before I decided I have to fight regardless of what people say. Because people say, you can't do this. It's too many homeless people. It's too mental health. You can't help anybody. And we're already helping 2 years later.
2 years later,
Yeah.
we're already helping.
Yes.
So the need was presented itself to you in a form of some personal need.
Yes.
It was personal. It was something that you didn't have to go look for it. It came to you
Yes.
in your own home. Because a lot of time what's happening is that people feel that things are happening outside of them, you know, out there. They are not part of it. But when it hits your home, you're going to have to rise up and figure it out.
Yes.
Am I going to fight, or I'm just going to sit here and bear this thing
Right.
and let it crush me?
Right.
I'm so glad you didn't.
I'm
Because we
glad.
wouldn't be sitting here right now if you
Yes.
did, and your son will still be out in the street.
Correct.
Talk to me about the idea of putting an organization together. Of course, you wanted to help your son, but why an organization? You could have just helped your son by yourself or with the people just around you. Why go large?
Because at the time that my son was going through this, I had joined the church that I currently go to, Faith Christian Center.
Yeah.
And I was in small groups. And so I was learning that we are all called.
Come on.
We're all called to do something I didn't even know.
Yes.
So when I started there, I was 50 years old. So as I'm going through these small groups and I'm meeting all these women.
That has such power behind
yes.
it. I tell people, join your small group, stay with them. You're going to learn some stuff. At 50 years old.
At 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they really supported me because I was afraid to do this. I didn't know anything about nonprofits.
Yeah. Of course, we never do. He called and
Nothing.
he equipped, right?
That's right.
Doesn't equip you first. He called.
Yep. And the first small group I was in at the time, she said, if you step out on faith, God is going to bring the resources and the people.
Wow.
And so as I continue through my small groups, every single one blessed my life. That's actually how I ended up getting housing for my son.
I love the fact that they told you, if you step out on faith,
Yes.
God will bring the people.
For real.
Perfect transition. God will bring the people. Now,
Yes.
why did you join this organization? How did you join in the first place? And then we'll go to why. How? Knowing her.
It was through a small group. I just have to say this. I was in a small group and I said, hey, do you know somebody that's a mental health consultant that I can get to help me with this?
Yeah.
So I don't know if she knows that part, but it's somebody that I met in a business small group through my church.
Wow.
Absolutely. The person who referred you was a really good friend of mine,
Yes.
and I actually helped her with her business.
Okay.
My background is, I'm a mental health consultant, but I'm also specialized in healthcare systems. So I know it on a much
I love
larger perspective. So understanding where government funding comes from,
Yes.
understanding how dollars are pushed through
Yes.
our local counties and stuff like that.
The cities and things, yeah.
Right. So
A lot of knowledge right there.
well, it's generational blessings
Come
because my mother is an amazing healthcare administrator back in Oklahoma.
I love that.
And so,
When you're talking healthcare, you're talking about me right
Yes.
there, because that's my field. I love that part of understanding the concept of looking at people, not just when you see a body, but you look at
at
their
the-
mind,
Yes.
spirit, and body and bring it together.
Yes.
I love
Right.
that idea.
And so I didn't know it was a gift at the time. So, I've always loved working with people.
Yes.
And when I was 14 years old, my mom, I used to just go to the office with her coworkers and they had me
And them in
typing.
the way they should go.
Right. I'm typing reports. Then they say, let me show you how to audit books.
Wow.
Let me show you how to do reports. I want to show you how the health system at 14, I was learning this stuff.
So cool.
And so my mother and my father both, my parents both work in behavior health, also
Yes.
my older brother.
love it.
So I come from a family of that,
Yes.
that worked in a mental health care system. So we see
my thing.
this is why it's such a divine appointment,
Yes.
because it comes with a spiritual compassion that God gives us.
Yes.
And so when I moved out here, I was kind of trying to figure out what direction I want to go. I do want to help people.
Yeah.
I have an undergrad in psychology, but I have a master's in health administration.
Come on.
And so,
Education. The higher education will hit you every time.
and
love it.
and in my family, I was the first to do that in my immediate family. So
Yes.
my parents were like super excited about it.
Man.
But it's the generational knowledge, it's the generational wisdom
Yes.
that really gives me that drive.
I love it.
Receiving this phone call from the person that referred her.
Yeah.
she called me and I spoke with her, but I had just opened my own business where I just help people open their
Consulting, yes.
yeah, consulting with different health systems.
Wow.
And H.A.U.N.T.E.D called me and I was like, well, just like I talk to any of my other customers, you know, I have a fee that I charge
That's
for
right.
that.
I'm in tears right now. There's a fee. There is a fee.
But when
This
you
is so cool, though.
but when you speak
Yeah.
out of faith, and this wasn't just faith that I heard in her tone,
Yes.
this was I stepped in this. This is what I got from her. And and so really that same spirit came to me as well in my heart.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to do this. It doesn't
Regardless.
matter regardless because it's a
at God.
calling. And when
Yes.
you're in the same calling, you're in the same mission. So for almost 2 years,
it.
we've rediscovered ideas. We've went through some things.
Yes.
A lot of things.
A lot of things. And
you
yes.
you have to go through
Yes.
things when you put in processes and things like that
Yes.
into place. There have to be a strategy.
Yep.
What you did not know is that my background is in psych. So my business was behavioral. I used to own 19 homes, and out of them, I had about, I think, maybe 5 of them were behavioral homes, where we took care of people with mental health issues. And so anytime I think God is connecting, He connects us in that level where we can only help each other to go to a higher level
Yes.
from where we are.
Amen.
And
Yes.
I love the idea of the generational wealth, understanding that wealth is not just money. Look at the wealth that your parents have transferred into you. They did not write a paycheck and give you, but they give you a thirst
Yes.
for knowledge, first of all. They give you an understanding of people's mind and how to help others. And then the third, they send you out in the world and say, go do it.
Yes. Yes.
This is amazing. So the two of you met, and it was God moment ordained, and then you started working together.
Yes.
So now, fast forward right now where we are right now. This was the past of the organization. This is where you were. This is the reason why you did it.
Yes.
So now, where are we now? I know that I have been a recipient of this organization because I also helped with a homeless organization that I founded years ago. And then I work up to, she met me somewhere actually, and she said, do you want any bags for the homeless? I'm like, bags? You passing bags out, bro? Give me some of that. And she gave me a brochure. And the next thing I know, I had 50 bags. And then I asked for 100. And then I asked for 200.
Yes, she did. 200
Yes,
twice.
right.
She don't go small.
So I've been getting a lot of those bags. So where are we now, from your point of view, as far as writing grant, writing all the things that you need to propel this organization forward?
So I believe that God assigned me to be a protector of the organization.
Oh,
So when a lot of things that we talked about in the past, even until now,
Yes.
I keep out the red tape. Due to the experience that I have, I understand healthcare laws
Yes.
and regulations, and I ensure that Dsquared is within compliance
Come
and
on.
regulation with what they want to do.
Yes.
So one day will call me and say, I want to do something, and I'm like, no, you can't do that.
She does. You always
love
need
it.
somebody that will tell you
love
no.
it when you have that kind of compass and guidance, though, and it keeps you in the right.
Yes.
And I remember telling you that, and I said, hey, you know, organization comes and goes, but I'm praying and hoping that
Yes.
this is one that will stick to its gun and do what it says that it was going to do. And so far, I have seen God working through you in our community. I mean, every place that I
Yes.
go, there you are. And every time you call me and say something, I send you a resource. There
Yes,
you are.
that is true.
What I like about what you've been teaching her is not just to come and take, but to give back. Talk to me about the giving back of the square.
So it's interesting that when I first started Dsquared, I didn't plan to give hygiene bags. That wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
That was an idea that God said, and I said no in the beginning, like I normally do. But it goes back to the providing resources. So this bag came about by me just wanting to help someone that's on my board at the time that had schizophrenia. I wanted to do something nice for her.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'm not going to do bags, but we'll do this one time, you know, just so I can make you happy.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to fill the bags because remember, I don't have any experience. I was like, God, I don't know how to do this. So I work for Dignity Health, and I've been there 21 years now. So
Wow.
I knew
Amazing.
a lot of people because I used to be in HR.
Yeah.
So what I did is I posted on Facebook. I had that one bag, and I said, "Hey, do you guys want to come out and help me fill this bag for the homeless?" It came from there. And
Now
so I
you're
had this
getting
bag.
hundreds of people
Yeah.
showing up.
Well, the thing is, so I only purchased 25 bags. And then one of my coworkers said, we should do this on a regular basis. And I said, no, I'm not doing that because God didn't tell me to do that. I don't even know how I'm going to do that. And I'm the kind of person, if you come to me with an idea, I'm going to say you need to walk that idea out because I don't have time to do. So this person actually said, I'm going to start this program. And literally she started a teen program from her house. We started collecting donations.
Wow.
She got the teens together once a month and they filled. And so it started in Queen Creek.
Yes.
And so now we are also in Glendale and we are in Phoenix as well. So the
in
teens
Chandler too?
in Chandler too.
Because that's where I pick up my bag.
Yes, we are.
Chandler.
Yeah, we are in Chandler, and so our next, because we're trying to build a team there. Because really, the team was just myself and the president. So we were the two people filling those 200 bags, and it was like we need to get help because Christine is keeping us busy. So so we started creating in Chandler at H.A.U.N.T.E.D.
Yes.
That is where our bag fills will be. We're going to do them quarterly,
amazing.
and we also take the bags around in Chandler. Some of our bags are in the libraries for the homeless.
Wow.
2 libraries, and then St. Vincent de Paul and Mesa.
Yeah.
They get our bags, so we actually pass them out everywhere. And now, because of the heat relief program,
Listen
they're
to this.
everywhere.
What you didn't want to do, and that's what become like the staple, or what they said the cornerstone of the organization beside everything else you do.
It is.
Because you never left your mission, which is
Correct.
to find shelter.
Yes.
But in going there, as you're
Yes.
listening to God's voice and applying what he said, telling you, you get into where you really wanted to go in the first place.
And I had to, because at the park where my son lived, I was literally taking supplies to him, and I'm seeing all these homeless people out there, and that's where it came from. God said, okay, who's helping these people?
Wow.
You can help these people, so do it. So literally, that's how I came around. I'm like, I'm helping my son, I might as well help everybody else because it's an uphill battle anyway.
Miss Patricia, so are you project manager? You're a project manager, or what is the title right now for you with this?
With Dsquared, I am on the board,
Yeah.
and I am over the clinical committee,
Good.
clinical team.
Yes.
And so we have amazing people.
Yeah.
Just want to say at Dsquared, it's amazing talent at Dsquared.
We have a
that
lot
we're
of
all
them in the
called.
studio right now,
Yes.
smiling at you guys, thinking that, this is good. They know that it's good. But it's wonderful to know that you guys have taken the time, you heard the voice of God, and you took it and run with it. And what he told you, if you go by faith, I will supply. I will bring the people. And look at all the people that are here in the studio with you today. And Miss Patricia sitting here. All of that, it's coming with the understanding that God is the one who's at the realm of it. He's moving it forward. He's pushing it forward. So now let's talk about the future of the organization.
Okay.
Where do we see ourselves as where do you guys see yourselves right now?
So right now, we actually at 2 years have just started assisting the homeless with getting into shelter.
Yes.
And I'm
That's the
very
part that you're
excited about, because I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know how or when. I just knew
There
when
is a
God
way.
decided.
There is a
So we
way.
started doing that. And then we are interested in transitional housing.
Yes.
Because in my mind, there's a certain population that is not helped with grants.
Yeah, and that's a population that is mentally ill, and then there is a certain age group, and knowing that 90% to 95% of those experiencing homelessness have some type of a mental health issue. You know that,
Yes.
and it comes with the territory. So in order for us to help anyone in that realm, then we have to provide the help they need mentally, and then we can bring and help them, put them in housing as we stabilize them. I know in our city we are doing an amazing job with that, and we love working with you and having you be partners with us. It's a great thing for us to do.
Yes.
So, Miss Patricia, can you tell me?
It's Felicia.
Felicia, I'm calling you Patricia because I see a Patricia in you.
Oh,
I see a
God's
Patricia
problem.
in you. Tell me exactly what is it that the future look like right now for the organization?
so the future looks like very well. We have a lot of sponsors.
Yes.
And the GAP program is something that we have been working on for a while, and we actually launched a small pilot of that, and it has helped homeless individuals with getting housing.
Yes.
Helping with their like deposits or application fees, and all this money was raised through
The community.
The community.
That's God. Because
Yes.
it's not grants.
It's not grants.
So you have not really been getting grants.
No,
yet.
this is the community
It's
for
the
2
community.
years.
For 2 years, the community has been rising up, and I tell you, there's some good people out there.
Oh,
Yes.
Who really wants to help, other people. And whenever someone rise up and wants to do it, you will find the people will come align you.
Yes.
Because I used to say that not every one of us can go, but some of us can stand. We will be able to send, and that's what's happening for 2 years. They have been sending you guys
Yes.
in places and territory that you couldn't go. So that GAP program, how does that specifically work? Let's say, for example, somebody was watching right now, and you wanted to find a place to live, or you wanted to go somewhere from where you are right now. You woke up this morning and said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Today is the day I'm going to leave this life behind, and I'm going to leave addictions behind. I'm going to leave homelessness behind, and I'm going to find a way for my life to be what God ordained my life to be. So how will Dsquared assist them, Ms. Felicia, into doing that?
Into doing that?
Yes.
Well, a lot of people have, for me, we specialize in the.
Why don't you tell them?
Oh, okay. So we specialize the GAP program in 2 ways. Okay, so we have different levels. There's an A and a B and a C level, and so the A and the B is more common for people who are already in homeless shelters, and they may be working with someone who is like in a homeless shelter, case management or something like that. They make a referral to us to say, hey, we have someone, we don't have funding for that person. If you can help us out by helping with financial, application fees and application fees, move-in costs. So we help with that. And in our future, we plan to help individuals who have the SMI classification. So they are with their clinics.
SMI mean?
It means severe mental illness.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yes.
So that's the first level. Those people can attend you that. What about other people who are not in shelters?
For those who are not in shelters, well,
We cannot help
We
them
cannot
right
help
now.
now right now.
And I'll tell you why we can't help. Because there's no way to connect with those people. So because I work a full-time job and she worked too, we have to have the case manager give us that information.
Correct.
And they have to qualify that person for us. Because when I'm giving them a bag in hygiene, that I'm just giving you that bag and I'm going.
Yeah.
But they have to be qualified. And this is one of the things she told me no, because I wanted to help everybody.
Yes.
But the only way we can help somebody is if we know that they qualify, they really need to help.
Yeah, because you can do all that work and then hit a wall by the end of the things. Because I've seen a lot of people do that. They want to pick someone and then to help them, and then they go look for the resources, and then they find out that there's nothing available. But when the case manager is already in contact, and usually when there's a case manager involved, that person is the person I just described about getting sick and tired and want to get the help. Because they are at that point right now where they actually sat down with the case manager who helped them to get their birth certificates back, to get all some of the other things that they're in need of in order to move forward in the process. And so once they get all of that, now they can come to you. The case manager can make a referral. And who do you work with the most as far as organization to receive those clients from case managers?
Well, I have a pilot program right now, which I can't say the name, but it's a homeless shelter.
Yeah, that you're working with.
That I'm working with.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's good because we want to protect people if they're there for a purpose, and because we have a lot of people that are there that are not supposed to. People know where they are. So understand that that's another thing that your organization do really good is that when the people come, if they need help to protect who they are, whether they coming from domestic domestic violence and all those kinds of things, they will get the privacy that they need in order for them to get the help that they need. So they should never feel afraid to come or ask a case manager to refer them to you.
Yeah, and
I love that.
Our next step is I really want to have full housing.
Okay.
And so right now I'm focused on like networking and so that we can have partners.
Correct.
Because that's the only way you're
Partnership
really
is
going to
always
do
gonna
this.
do it. Partnerships, I tell people, don't reinvent it.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
In our field, we don't want to reinvent. We want to collaborate.
Correct.
We want to partner. We want to bring people to the table who already know where we've been, or we already know where we're going with them, and then all together, then we can move forward. This was amazing. You were gonna say something. Go
Yes,
ahead.
the GAP program is it's to help with that roadblock.
Yes.
Because of people that may be semi-homeless. Remember, there's a semi-homelessness.
Levels.
Different levels of
We call it
homelessness.
couch surfing.
Right. And they may be really trying to help. We know in mental health, in mental illness, housing is a very, very important factor due to, the other health disparities that they are struggling with.
Yeah.
But, with housing, it can really stabilize that person's overall being, overall health. And so therefore the GAP program helps to bring that to the table and bring it out.
And what you just said is the truth. If we didn't know it, we just found out about it on 2020, right? When nobody could go anywhere. And we took our homeless people and we put them into different areas where we stabilized them and we were able to intervene. We had such a great success with that. 83% of them were able to go into housing because they were stabilized in one place and things. Ladies, I am so excited to have you here today. Look at the time's already gone.
I know.
Yes.
Like, wow.
But we're having fun. We want to
Yes.
do this again because it's great to give people knowledge and understanding of what you guys are doing. Because whenever we are touching people, as I said earlier, it's never just a bag. It's never just a plate of food, but it is the redeemed part of that person.
Yes.
We want to redeem that person back to who they truly needed to be. And I know your son has been redeemed.
Yes.
And I'm so
very
pleased
excited.
for that. I'm so excited. He's helping people right now.
Yes.
He's working. You said he's working.
He's actually working in a transitional living house.
Well,
One
there
of
we go.
my nonprofit partners hired him where nobody else would.
Well, we're so thankful that he did.
Oh, my
Somebody
gosh.
will.
Yes.
Somebody will.
Yes.
And if you're that person today, we encourage you to call and give us a call. Help us. The information for Dsquared is right here on the screen. Don't forget to really call and help. We love you. God bless you. Let's do this together for God and listen and go do it in Jesus' name. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. Thank you, ladies, for being here today.
Thank you.
And keep smiling and waving at the people and letting them know that we are here.
Awesome.
God is